Hello everyone, I will be making a video of me making a video using Windows Movie Maker for Windows 10, 8, and so on. So I have a couple folders open that have raw videos that I'm going to import into Movie Maker. Now what I have here is the videos that I have currently made for my video intro, the actual footage that I'll be making the video out of, and I have pre-recorded video intros, pretty much of me introducing myself, letting you know what item I'm making a video of, and at the end thanking you for watching my videos and asking for your support by subscribing. So I'll pull the first video clip in. And once it's loaded, you can see what it looks like. So let's just take a minute and look at that video. Notice there was a lot of noise in the background, and what I like to do is eliminate that noise and mute that clip. So what I would do is double click on this, and you can see that this toolbar changed. I go to video volume and I slide the bar over to the mute area. Start at the beginning, and now the entire video clip has been muted. If there was a section that you wanted to mute out of this entire clip, you would just sit here and go to split, and now it's cut the clip in half. If you wanted the first half to have video volume, you would just take and drag that over. The second half would still be muted. And you can do this as many times as you want in the video as desired. And now you see where it has been muted. So what I've done here is I've done a normal speed unboxing, and I laid out all the contents inside the box. And what I'd like to do is use that as the opening clip to give the audience an idea of what's taking place in the video. That's just a format that I like because it looks professional and it's informative. But it's kind of boring because it's quiet and I'm just fumbling through unboxing that. So what I would like to do is speed that up. So if you see right here where it says speed 1x, find out the length of the video that I want to speed up and then cut it from there. So this area here I don't really need, because in the clip, after I take my hand off of those and I'm out of screen, there's nothing else to see other than that. So I'll find a comfortable area, I'll split, right click, and remove. Now let me start watching from the beginning. See, that's kind of boring there with that. So what I'll do is I'll back it up, split, right click, remove, and now here we go, moving, unboxing. And that looks good. So I'll pause this, stop it, however you want to do it. I just do things by default, which is what I prefer to do. And now I have this, and I like to make it at 8x, but you can select whatever that you feel desire for. 8x. You see how short that clip is? Now let's preview it. And voila, it's not a boring clip, it's just a small clip that introduces what I'm going to do. If I thought that was too small, which if you can see on there it says it's 3 seconds and 52 milliseconds, I can go back up and I can adjust it to 4x. Now let's see what it looks like at that speed. It looks good. It's still lengthy, but you got to keep in mind the overall length of your video. I try to keep my videos 10 minutes and shorter, preferably shorter, just because the audience's attention span. So I'm going to go ahead and put mine at, let me just type in 6x. Okay, not 64, but 6. Just typing in, nope, not 64, 6x. Backspace. Go back here, click on that, 6x. Now I've typed in 6x. So see, even though you have your default number increments, you can go in and adjust by typing whatever you want. That looks good to me. The overall length of that clip is 4.7 seconds, which is pretty good. So I'll keep it at 6x, just for the sake of the video. Now the next thing I'll do is I'll pull in my intro, video intros. The problem I have is I record maybe 10 or 15 and I forget which one I use. So you may see some of these video intros twice. But what I like to do is I like to start with the first one, go to the second, third, and then I try to rename those. Like I may change this to used and whatever the date it is. I'm not sure. But for the sake of the video, I'm just going to randomly pick one, and I hope that it hadn't been used before. I'll just click this one, drag it into, and now you see where it says Movie Maker is preparing your file. Basically what it's doing is it's pulling it from my hard drive into the application, and you've got a status bar. Now it's done. I'll click on this. Alright. Yeah. Hello and welcome back to FMRevu. I'm your host, Freddie Robinson, and in today's video I'll be going over the... And so you see I've also streamlined my actual speech, where I introduce myself, introduce the channel, and then I'll say I will be going over the, and I'll stop, because I'll make a totally separate clip with the camera down on whatever it is that I'm doing, and I'll highlight that. And the reason I have this maxed out as far as zoom, so I can see my actual what is that, volume, voice, I'm not sure what that is, but you can see the sound curves here. So I'll know that once this sound curve goes off, I've stopped talking, so I can actually make a cut there. The same thing with all of this beforehand. I can see where the sound it starts, and I can go a little. What I like to do is give myself a little bit of cushion here when I cut. So let me split, right click, and remove. That way when I do a transition, I'm not going to overlap me saying anything unless it's something I want to overlap me saying. So now that I have this, and you see where the end is at here, I'll go ahead and give myself a few microseconds of cushion, and then I'll split. Now looking further down the line, I know that I start talking right here, so I can go ahead and split, right click, remove, and look how long I talked. So we will go ahead here, split, right click, and remove. So now I have a fast unboxing, which leads into me talking. Hello and welcome back to FMRevu. I'm your host, Freddie Robinson, and in today's video I'll be going over the... And I'd like to thank you for watching the video and sharing your time with me. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to keep more awesome FM reviews coming your way. Good. So I like that. That has a good professional sounding introduction and out. So I'll keep that how it is. The next thing I'll do is I will transition these two. So you see you have your two cuts right there. Now if you click on your bars at the top, each one of these changes the toolbar below it. So home is default, and then you have animations. Under animations you have your transitions, and they're highlighted here. So what I like to do is just some type of a transition between. So let's just say there, and then you can see the demonstration of how it looks just by simply placing your arrow over the top of it. And now you can see the importance of giving yourself that little bit of room to work with. So you can find whichever, well, you can expand all of them at once and find whichever one that you like. Now my favorites out of all of these is going to be, it's going to be the blur with the white. It's going to be the wipe, or whatever that's called. And I like the glass shattering. And something just for fun would be these reveals right here. Let's use this reveal. Now we have the reveal, and you see how long it is. You can see that the actual lines there. The duration is right up here. You also have presets that you can change, or you can manually type that in. I used 0.25, 0.50, and I type in 0.75, just depending on how I feel. So now that I've selected 0.50, I'll look at my timeline and see where this clip ends and where the transition and the talking begins on that one. So that gives you a little bit of comfort. So I'll go back a little ways and I'll watch. Hello and welcome back to You notice how that it goes from silent here to talking here. This silence is actually inside of this curve, and so it's overlapping. So what I want to do is I want to go up to, where is it at? Home, animation, no, it's project. Go to the project tab and then click on no emphasis, because right now it's going to emphasize, it's currently set to emphasize narration, but I want no emphasis. So once I selected that, I'll go and play. Hello and welcome back to FMRevu. Now you can see the difference between having something muted and blending it in versus having no emphasis at all. Hello and welcome back to FMRevu. I'm your host, Freddie Robinson, and in today's video I'll be going over the... Great. So I like that. Now we can add some captions. Hello and welcome back to FMRevu. Okay, I just have my normal default introduction. I can see that there's a pause between there, and I know that I'm going to introduce myself in this area here. I'm your host, Freddie Robinson. So I know I'm your host, Freddie Robinson, is right in this area, purely because I've been doing it the same way for so long. So what I'll do is I'll click Caption. Now you have your text box, and I would just type in my name, Freddie Robinson. Now that I have that, I like to take my arrow, put it over there and move it to the bottom and keep it in the middle. And we can spice this up. Highlight your text. You can make it bold, you can make it italics, and you can change your font color all in one area here. I like to use things that sort of contrast or stand out from the background. Yellow. Okay, now we have yellow. Go up and change your font. And you see I have a lot of fonts here. So it's just a matter of finding the one I like. Start from the beginning and work my way down. Find one that's, how does that look?
I'm your host.
Yeah, let's do that again. Fine, let's just start over then. Okay. Is it in the center? Let's move it there. Highlight. And find something that I like. And it's just a matter of a guessing game. We'll just say cliffhanger. That looks pretty cool to me. Now I like to expand it all the way out so it's across the bottom here. And the start time, well, actually the duration here is 5.43, which is what I'm looking for. So I know that my speaking time is not quite that long because you see the time goes that far. So I want it to end somewhere around this area here. So I may change this to 3 seconds. A little bit long, let me go with 2 seconds. Let me slide this over. And you purely just use your mouse, click and drag. Click and drag. Let's see what it looks like.
I'm your host, Freddie Robinson. And in today,
looks okay to me. So let's add a little bit of an effect to this. Well, let me just double click it. That'll help. Now you have your effects right here.
I'm your host. 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 I'm your host.
There we go. So we have that. Next, let's go ahead and go all the way and add an outline to it. What size outline do you want? I will go with a medium, and then I'll give it an outline color. I know that that was, I know that that was yellow. So go with a color that would complement yellow or clash with yellow. Let's see what red looks like. That'll grab your attention.
FMRevu. I'm your host, Freddie Robinson. And in today's video,
Okay, let me see now. 2 seconds is good, but I think I'm going to expand it to 3. And let me slide this in just because the effect takes a little bit of time. So let's see here.
FMRevu. I'm your host, Freddie Robinson. And in today's video, I'll be going over the...
I do like
and
that.
I like to
That's nice. I like how that came out. So that's good. I like how that's playing and everything there. Now then, we will go with a second clip. And this is going to be for my video content, the one where I pulled my original unboxing video. So let me find where I have that at.
Adobe Photoshop Elements and Premiere 15.
There we go, right there. That's what I'm looking for. So I want to use this clip and pull it in between these two clips because that was my introduction of who I am. Well, first of all, my channel, who I am, and then the product that I'm fixing to review in the video. So I'm just going to drag that into there. I will let it load down at the bottom. Now it has loaded. You can see the size of it. And I can tell right here is where I talk about the actual item, where I say Adobe Elements, I screw up, or I just do a second take and do it again and again, and looks like I do it 3 times. So let me listen to this.
Adobe Photoshop Elements and Premiere 15.
That sounded good to me.
Adobe Photoshop Elements and Premiere Elements 15. Adobe Photoshop Elements and Premiere 15.
I think the first one's better.
Adobe Photoshop Elements and Premiere 15.
Let me do that one more time. This is just purely a preference.
Adobe Photoshop Elements and Premiere 15.
I think I'll use this one. Photoshop Elements and Premiere 15, which is what it is. So again, I'm giving myself this little bit of space for cushion. Go to Edit, Split, right click and remove. At the end, a little bit of gap, split, right click, remove. Okay. Now I'm telling you exactly what it is that I'm going into.
Over the Adobe Photoshop Elements and Premiere 15.
Okay, so now I want to make a transition between these two. So I would go here, I would go to animation, I would expand and find my little
Adobe
right there, my little wipe thing, because I like that transition, and I've sort of used that when I introduce whatever items it is. Since I saw that it was 150 and that's overlapping, let me shrink it down to 50.
Going over the Adobe Photoshop Elements and Premiere 15.
Good, okay. But let me do it a little bit better here. What I want to do is animate visual effect, brightness right here, because that looked a little bit kind of boring and dim there to me. See how dark that is? So brightness, and let's see if I can brighten that up. I can, but the video in the background is looking horrible. So what is it that I'm going to sacrifice? The item in the foreground or the video in the background? Let's just see how it looks.
Going over the Adobe Photoshop Elements and Premiere 15. And I'd like to...
Okay, let me go back here. Visual effect, brightness. Let me try maybe 3/4 of the way.
Going over the Adobe Photoshop Elements and Premiere 15.
I believe that's workable given the circumstances. So I'm good with the brightness on that. So what I like to do here is add just a little bit of a music, because this
Going over the
ding, I like to use like a little magic chime. So I would go to Home, I would click Add Music at current point, as long as my cursor is where I want it to be. So I click that, and then I would just search. Now these are all copyright free songs that I downloaded from YouTube, and the one I'm looking for is Magic Chime. Right there, Magic Chime. Okay, now that's added here. Now you can see on the timeline below, the only part that I really want is right here, this little right there. All this other green I want to remove, so I will just double click on that, and you have your start time, your start point, your end point, and what I would do is just, no, other way. Alright, there it is right there. Nope, I don't even want to deal with that. Alright, so let me do at the start point. Nope, start point. So let me, okay, that's what I want to do. I want to click the start point and the arrow up, and what that does is that erases all of it. Alright, now you see how that's starting to move up here? Right there, that's where I want. I can start to see where it goes up and then down. So let me get that right there, and now the end point, I'm just going to type that in because I don't want to back all the way out. I'm just going to say maybe 3 seconds and see where that gets me. So it did shorten it a lot. Let me do it with 2.50. Alright, that shortened it quite a bit, so I'm pretty good with that. If I wanted to make some micro adjustments, I can just do it with the arrows. But because I've heard this over and over for a long time, I would like to increase the volume of this. So I'm going to double click music volume and make it all the way up, just because this was recorded in a sort of a quiet sound.
Going over the Adobe Photoshop Elements and Premiere 15.
Okay, good.
And
Great, I like that. So we're here.
And in today's video, I'll be going over the Adobe Photoshop Elements and Premiere 15.
Excellent.
And I'd like to thank...
Great. I like that. I like that a lot. Now that we've added some sound to this and gave it a little bit of life.
Going over the Adobe Photoshop Elements and Premiere 15.
Let's go ahead and add some to this. So we have it at the very beginning. We'll go with Add Music, Current Point, and just find whichever one you have desired. So what I like to do is preview these before I put it in there. So I right click on whichever one I'm curious about and go to Play with Windows Media Player. I like that. Sounds cool to me. So let's stop and go with Open. Boom. Uh-oh, look what happened. Since we did this one after we did the other one, it pushed all of what we just did out of the way. So what we have to do is go in and edit this one. And this can happen at any time. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing broke. So you double click on this and we go back up here to our numbers. So let's just shorten this to begin with. What do we want to shorten it to? I can tell you real quick. This video clip is 4.70 seconds. So let's make that 5.0. Boom. Now I shorten it to 5. You see the length of it, and then you see where it brought our other clip back. So now let's see. Alright, that's pretty good. I actually like that. That was just a lucky guess. So what I like for this to do is
Hello and welcome.
that's what I want. I want this music to fade out because it sounded like it just abruptly stopped. So I'm going to double click on the music and then go to your fades. I want this to fade slow. So now let's see what it looks like.
Hello and welcome back.
That faded nice. I like that. That was a good fade. Okay. So now we have this clip that we want to get up here. So we just click this with the mouse and drag it. Bam, right there.
Going over the Adobe Photoshop Elements and Premiere 15.
Looks good so far.
Hello and welcome back to FMRevu. I'm your host, Freddie Robinson. And in today's video, I'll be going over the Adobe Photoshop Elements and Premiere 15. And I'd like to...
Good. I've got the intro done. Take a break and I'll see you in a few minutes. Now I'd like to add another clip, which is my main introduction. So I'd go down to my folders and find out it's going to be right here. And this I have named Classic Intro, and I would just take that and drag it into my timeline, let it load, go here and
I'd like to thank
good.
you for watching the video.
Now, so I have this. What I would do is use a transition between these two clips. Animation, expand. I like to use the circle right here. I like that one a lot. So I would click that, but I don't want it quite that large or that long. So I would go here and do 0.5 and let's see what it is.
15.
I like that. That was a pretty good one. Okay. Now, I like to right here where these two transition between, right there, stop it, and I would like to add caption. And this is normally where I would type what the name of the item is that I'm making a video about. So I would just do that, and Adobe. What is this? Adobe Elements 15. I'll use Adobe Elements 15. That's good enough. And I would like to pull this to the middle area. I like to make that bold, and I like to make that a little bit larger. So I'm going to expand all the way over and use my arrow for my font to go or to grow. There we go. Make sure that it's in the middle. And now I'll use an effect, which is going to be along the bottom. Where's the effect at? Nope. There's the effect I like. I like that effect. So I add that effect to it. And now I will change the font color to black. And let me see what that looks like. Good.
And I'd like to thank.
I like that. That turned out good. So that's starting to look normally like my videos do.
And I'd like to thank you.
Okay, so I've got all that built. Now I'm going to add the content of the video that I want to make. And I'll go to my folder where all that's at. And I would just drag that and let it load. Because this is a large file, it's going to take a little bit longer for it to load into the timeline. Now that it's loaded, I'll go ahead and see where my voice is at, and I'm talking, and I'll just let this play.
Inside the box, you get 2 discs with the software on it, one for the Windows operating system and one for Macintosh operating systems.
Alright, good deal. Now then, we will take this, and what else do I have? Do I have something? Let me see what's down here in this area.
Inside the box, you get 2 discs which contain the software. One will be for Windows operating systems and one will be for Macintosh operating systems. You do get 2 leaves of paper. One will be an advertisement for the software that you just bought, and another one will be for installing it with the codes.
Mistake. Okay, let's go to... What I've learned is the last one is usually the best one that I don't mess up on.
You do get 2 leaves of paper.
Okay, let's go here.
Inside the box, you get 2 discs. One will be for installing the software on Windows operating systems, and the other one will be for installing the software on Macintosh operating systems. You do get 2 leaves of paper. One is a small little color field advertisement, and another one is just plain text, black and white. Gives you a little bit of information about the software as well as your installation code.
Alright, so let's split. Let's go back, give myself a little bit more. Alright, so now let's go ahead and split this back right there. Remove, right click, remove. Where does this start at? Right here. Let's move it to there. Split, right click, remove. Now let's see what we have.
Inside the box, you get 2 discs. One will be for installing the software on Windows operating systems, and the other one will be for installing the software on Macintosh operating systems. You do get 2 leaves of paper. One is a small little color field advertisement, and another one is just plain text, black and white. Gives you a little bit of information about the software as well as your installation code.
Good. Now let's transition from our introduction into the unboxing contents. So let's go to VIXIA animation. I like to use the,
Inside the box.
What is this? The horizontal bars. I like to use that. So let's click that, drop it down to 50, Let's see what we got.
Inside the box, you get two discs.
Yes, nice. I like that. Okay, so now we have that. And let's add some caption. We can't overlap captions. We just can't do that in here. Now over time I figured out a way of doing that, and that's pretty much make your video with your caption typing here, render it, open the same video back up again, find this spot, and then create a whole nother caption. So you're basically using an overlay on top of a video. That may sound confusing, but I might be able to word it in a different manner later on. So basically think of this right here as one video, and then you have your overlays. Render all of that, and then all of that becomes one video. You take that video and put another overlay on top of it. It's a little bit time consuming, but you are beating the system just because this is a very basic software. But for this purpose, I want to take my timeline and move it off of that. And then I would type caption. And for this caption, the reason I recorded it the way that I did, I wanted this area left blank so I could put the what came inside the box over here. And the reason I did that was so I can put it in this area. But what I want to do is use my align text to the left, make it a little bit smaller, and drag it right there. So now you can see I can add text in this area, and it will not interfere with seeing what's inside the box. So I would just go ahead and type inside the box, enter a little dash. I would say Windows, install disk, enter dash Mac, install disk, and paper, P-A-P. Nope, I don't want paper. What do I want to say? Do I want to say leaflets? Do I want to say advertisements? What do I want to say? I can't think of a creative word right now. Let me go with what do I want to use? I can't think of what I want to say for those little pieces of paper there. Something to do with code. Something to do with paper. Something to do with leaflets. What would I want to call those? I have no idea what I want to call these. Leaflets. Install code. Let me just say not leaflets, but advertise papers. And I'm sorry, but that's definitely not what I wanted this to sound or to be, but for this purpose I'm going to do it. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just fine-tuning this little text box. I'm moving it up, I'm expanding it, I'm shrinking it, whatever I want to do to make it look the way that I envision it. Let me go ahead and put a colon here. Inside the box, enter. Windows, let me make these bold. Alright, so it's bold. White is good because it stands out clearly on this background. Inside the box one, let's go ahead and put a space in between each one of these. That's good, that's easy, I like the way that looks. So now what I would like to do is find out the length of this entire clip, which is 27.43 seconds. And I would like to make this the entire length of that clip. So I would double click up here at my text duration. Let's make this 30 seconds and see how far that goes. Alright, that goes too far. So let's make this 28 seconds. That's still too far. Let's make it 26. 26 is not too much, so 27 it is. Good. Now that I have that set up the way that I want, I would like to add an effect to this. And I always like to use this one here. Inside the box you get 2 discs. One will be for it, which is scroll. So let's go back a little ways and find out where my footage is. Inside the box you get 2 discs. One will be for installing the software on Windows operating systems. Good. And the other one will be for installing the software on Macintosh operating systems. Okay. You do get 2 leaves of paper. One is a small little color filled advertisement, and another one is just plain text, black and white. Gives you a little bit of information about the software as well as your installation code. Good. I like that. Thank you for watching the video and share. So that's good. That turned out nice. We can proceed with the video footage, and let's see what is next with my, I think the install wizard is next. So let's take that and drag it in and let it load. Okay, something's not right, but that was just a small clip that I made. So right click, remove, go back to my original location, find another video. Let's see what the length of this one is. 6 minutes. So that one has something on it. Drag it in, drop it, let it load. Yep, 6 minutes. It's going to take a while. I'll see you in a few minutes. Yes, so now I can use the magic of video editing and cut all of that out. And I'll just go ahead through those steps and show you what I'm doing. Okay, so let's make a transition right here between these 2 clips. And we will go with, I like to use this one, so 0.5. Let's see where the text, or yeah. Code. And now I'll just go ahead. Yep, that's good. Okay, so that blended perfect. Just as that text left the previous clip, that one started. I like the way that looks. Code. And now I'll just go ahead and put the disk in for the corresponding operating system. In this case, it'll be Windows, and I'll just go through the install wizard. Now you notice that I do have a cut, but nothing moved in the background. The laptop stayed the same. The only thing changed was this on the screen. So I'm not going to put a transition there. I'll just move my timeline to the end of that segment, pull in another part of my video. Now that it's finished loading, let's see what we have. Like that. Right click, remove, go right here with this, and just to make things a little bit easier, I will split. Alright, so now we do have a transition, and what I would like to do is take this and go to animation, transition. Yes, that's the white one that I like to use. Adjust the time to 50, and let's see what it is. Yes, I do. Now you have the installer. Good. And its progress. So let me make this cut here. Right click, remove, go here. Progress. Good. Okay, now you're seeing what that looks like. I don't need to make a transition between these 2 clips because nothing changed other than the windows, and you don't want to overdo your transitions. Progress. Okay, what option? Welcome, install, or try? No, I've purchased this. Okay, so install. Sign in required. Split. I'll fill out this information. And right click, remove. Okay. Let me pull my other content in. And my son's awake, so I guess I'll have to do this at a later date. Until next time, thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to keep more awesome FM reviews coming your way.